The best advice I can give you for building strong characters, for starters, see your characters off how real people act. And I don't mean literally base your characters like, this is Randy, and you're gonna make a character based off of Randy. You could make a character based off of Randy, but that's not the point. You should be basing your characters off how real people act, how real people think, how real people talk. And of course, there are like cartoons and stuff, you know what I mean? But our understanding of how cartoon characters move is based off of how, and not even humans, but how real things move. You can take inspiration from existing characters, but you shouldn't base your characters off them. For example, that Goku thing. When you look at Goku, Goku is only the end product. You're not seeing the process. And the process is looking at real people, how real people act, real people talk, how real people think. Art imitates life and the other way around. And this is what we're going to be talking about in this video. But I mean, really get into their head. One time someone asked me, how do I make more realistic dialogue? And then I said that if you're a pirate, okay, a lot of talk about pirates today, I get it, I like pirates, they're cool. But if you're a pirate on the 7 seas, and you're writing from that pirate's perspective, you have to write as if you are on a pirate ship that is moving, is unsteady, that you're feeling that nice salty air in your face, that you have a beard, a parrot on your side, and you might not have a foot or an eye, and you're commanding your crew. But the thing about writing realistically, or at least writing from their perspective, is that if you have not experienced certain things in your life, it would be hard or harder for you to write as if that is happening to the character. And that's why people try to give that tip, write what you know. So honestly, to become a better writer, to write more realistic things, if that's what you seek, experience things in life. Go outside. But now back to the pirate. If I were the pirate and I tried to walk, how would I walk? That keys in the body language. If I wanted to say something, what would I say? Maybe I'd say, beautiful sea we have today. As the writer, as the creator, you're looking from outside. You're looking from the outside of the ship. You're watching the ship sail. You have to be in the ship with them in order to really understand how scary it is when a cannonball comes towards you at this many miles per hour. And then finally, the last two, preferences. Details just mean like, what type of shoes would they wear? Or the peg leg thing I was talking about earlier. Pirate might not have a leg. Those are just little details. Maybe if that pirate has a pet, maybe that shows that he has a nice side. Or maybe even more vicious if he has instead of on his side, maybe it would be like a bulldog or something, I don't know. Something crazy like that. They could tell you more about his character as a form of exposition. Or ask yourself questions like, what type of coat would he wear? Would he even wear a coat? In pirate groups, there's always that one scallywag. There's always a scallywag who doesn't wear a shirt and then they have a bandana on. And that's like the combo. And they're always a low-level pirate too. And then lastly, the most important part, I don't even know how I put this at the end of the list, their goal. What does this character want to accomplish? Why do they want to accomplish? And it could vary throughout the story or throughout the episodes. There's usually a short-term goal and then there's a long-term goal, usually. Say my character's goal is to become a pro boxer. So what course of action would your character take first? What characters would they ask? Would their role help them or not help them with trying to get characters to agree with them? Would their relationship to people, to others, help them with trying to succeed with that role? Would their personality help with that or not help with that? How would their body language change during this process? It's a lot to think about. Don't forget the character's values. Do they value their friends? Do they value happiness? Do they value their job? Do they enjoy being a slob? What's their favorite food? Yeah, and you can go as in depth as you want. The possibilities are endless. And keep in mind, you can come up with these things at any, doesn't have to go thing by thing. You don't have to go in order. You could just go in whatever order you want. It comes naturally to you. You just come up with it. You get inspiration from certain things. Does a character use their hands a lot? A good example of body language and body language that contrasts between the two. Well, first you have to know what are your character's proportions. Are they just a tall person? Are they 6 foot? Are they 4'11"? Are they a man? Are they a woman? Dude, do they stand on their tippy toes? A good example of body language is in Breaking Bad, where Walter and Jesse's body language directly contrast each other. Walter is taller than Jesse. Whenever Jesse talks or acts out or anything, he likes to stand with his legs kind of to the side, even when he doesn't really. He likes to talk by waving his hands out a lot. He waves them around when he's excited, obviously, but when he's trying to make a point, he makes use of them, almost as if he's struggling to make a point, like his voice is not being heard. While on the contrast, Walter, who is 3 inches taller than him, I looked it up, but he has a noticeable lean compared to Jesse. Even when people are making parodies of it, they keep that in mind. He has that weird thing where he lets his hands hang by his sides. almost like a drunken cowboy, like a stupid guy. Like, it almost seems like he's being controlled by a puppet when he talks. The way that only his head moves and how he's sluggishly standing there. But he is an old man, I'll give him that. But he doesn't really use his hands as much as Jesse does. And when he does it in a way where he's slowly walking towards someone. Like, he'll slowly walk towards you, and yeah. Also, his legs are farther apart when he's standing because he's forced to, because he's taller than Jesse, and that means he has more leg than Jesse. 3 inches of leg more. Yeah. But body language can really get as crazy as you want it to be. And when you're doing animation, the body could be whatever you want it to be, so you can go as crazy as you want it to be. Next is their role to others. Now, personality. Personality has a direct tie to how did they grow up, but that's not always what we need in a story. We don't always need to see the origin of everybody all the time. The Flash feels the need to be nice to everyone because everybody else in the Justice League is kind of serious. The Justice League are good guys, but there's two stone cold. Now let's have a character that is kind of the opposite. Mojo Jojo feels the need to attack the Powerpuff Girls and Townsville simply because he just feels like he feels hated and he thinks the world should hate him. Both of these characters were dealt unlucky cards, could have had the same thing happen to them. There's a stereotypical villain and a stereotypical good guy, and they both, in different instances, find money on the sidewalk. Now, the good guy would probably try to return the money to its owner, and the bad guy would probably just take it for himself. Now, for now, we're going to ignore the fact that I would probably take it for myself too, but what I'm getting at here is personality. Depending on what you put your character in front of, how will they react? What would they even say? What would they do? And when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, the whole emotions thing on it, that's really what the heart of character is. If you were to dumb down the concept of understanding a character to its simplest form, it's if you were to place X in front of character, how would they react? And that's it. And if you get all your characters sorted out and realized, then when you get your story going, it's easy. It's a no-brainer because you know how the character will react. You know, they develop, of course, but until then, this is how they are now. And yeah, in terms of character development, you also have to ask, how does my character learn things? Will my character just try to do the same thing over and over again, partake in insanity, or would they try something different? How would they approach a problem? A locked door, perhaps. Turn the knob really hard, try to elbow the door, trebuchet. Yeah, that's the thing. Role to others is like general. A role is usually something that you're expected to act like, expected to be like, or the character is expected to be like. But their relationship, but he could be a nice general, and that's what relationship to others is. The actual complicated relationships that form between the characters. To everyone, he's a general, but to individual people, they each think of him a different way. He thinks of them in a different way as well. He looks at his underlings as rookies, while he looks at whoever's above him as better than him. And his opinions on each individual rookie are different, because they are different. Some of them share his values, some of them don't, and so on. We'll be doing this with examples too. And for a prime example, we're going to be making our own character right here. So, for starters, the name. It's recommended that you have each of your characters have a name that starts with a different letter to easily tell them apart. Another thing you could do is say one character's named Sean, and then Sean dies. Then you could replace Sean with Sam, so that now the audience has another S name to remember, but they don't have to remember Sean anymore. Not that much of it, obviously. And the reason this is a good rule to follow is that it's kind of hard to tell Abby and Album apart. But now, using all of these that we just listed down, we're gonna make a character in 1 minute. Let's go. Gertrude, and he's a janitor. He has arthritis. He has very pale blonde hair. He's a very pasty creature. Not too grainy, but also needs protein. He's more something in the middle, a vegetable. And he wears a blue janitor suit with dress shoes that are also blue. He would prefer to use his mop. Every time they ask him to use a mop, he uses a broom instead. His eyes are so blue he looks like Gojo. He prefers to get his dentures before he eats. And his signature thing is his water bucket. He'll always dump the water bucket on everyone when he doesn't like them. With his broom too. Maybe he'll smack him with that if he has the strength. Who knows? Oh wait, I know, because it's for me to decide. And now it's time for you to decide whether you liked the video or not, and whether you subscribe. So I don't got that many right now. So subscribe, and that's the end of the video.